So, this video is a overview of my life gamification that I put together that I'm going to walk you through. This is an infinite topic. Basically, the point is habit stacking is boring, and we want to find ways to dominate in life um, that has compliance, meaning we actually stick with what we say we're going to do. We know things we're supposed to do. So this is going to be my attempt at kind of a game version of your life instead of playing video games, which is fine. Applying that same stickiness and kind of addictive components of games into your real life. So I put this together and I'm really excited about it. I will do more videos if people like this. If people don't like it, then I will just do it myself because it's already beneficial and helping me with my goals and habits and so on and so forth, and getting me excited to do things that I otherwise wouldn't want to do. Like, for example, physical therapy or some form thereof. So let's break down there's a few different components of it. And we will get into it. So one really cool thing is that these graphics, if you just a random thing, but if you like really zoom in, you can see some pretty high resolution graphics that I hand drew for you guys. No, but nonetheless, I like that part. So, okay. So basically, we have different areas of life, and we have what I put into trying to capture the areas of life that are somewhat measurable. So you have your physical health, and that is the class barbarian, primary attribute strength, red ruby. That's the barbarian, that's the talisman. And then the levels I'll get into, basically like what level are you in each area of life. Combined level would be the sum of all three. And then you basically just try to keep leveling up. So another area of life we have is mental, emotional, spiritual health. That I put as the monk, primary attribute, dexterity. These are just references from Diablo 3 that will not mean much to most people, but it's cool to me. And the last one we have is intelligence. And I put creativity and creation. It's essentially productivity, but I wanted to put two C words together for the alliteration, truth be told. And creativity is more what we think of as creativity, and I put creation as a little bit more productivity. So creative is kind of more the art aspect, and creation is more of the production side of creating things like a business. So you basically have levels for all three. I have never been interested in maximizing one, right? So I don't want to just have money and not have health. I don't want to have health and not money. And then mental, emotional, spiritual actually kind of becomes sort of at the end of the day the most important of them all. So basically we're trying to max out all of them, and we're going to track the levels and all these sort of things. So I put different buckets in each. So yellow is the intelligence, green up top is the dexterity, we're calling it, and then the red we have is strength. So you can kind of see the easiest one would be to start off with would be the physical strength component. So what we're doing here is we're trying to identify what is, without getting too much into like Pareto optimal and this and that, like without trying to sound too sophisticated, it's essentially saying what is the best thing. And I have a lot of people ask, not a lot, but occasionally friends, family, like people ask me, oh, what are you doing for your workouts? What are you doing for diet? What are you doing for, blah, blah, blah. What are the most recent biohacks? So number one, in this video, I'm basically giving you an expose of what I'm actually doing. This is for me. This is not like a theoretical one that I made up for nobody. This is the template that I'm using for me. It can be adapted for you. Much can be borrowed for you, and I would recommend you borrow a lot from it. which I can kind of get into, where I think I would probably advise most people to use it, different columns in this case, and then others that are more specific and personalized to you. So, so physical health, I'm breaking it down into 4 things. So the Oxygen Advantage is a book on breathing and developing carbon dioxide tolerance and all these sort of things. So you're probably going to ask, well, I'm not familiar with this. So if you click the link up top, and then at the bottom there, you'll have the link out. So I linked it out for everyone. And again, you can kind of get into it, but this one's focused on breathing, Oura Ring. I'm tracking using sleep. So it's the different kind of modalities and then levels and ways to measure them, right? So sleep score greater than 75. Blue, there's a lot of components. So I'm just bouncing around. And again, this is meant to be an orientation video, not like a super, super deep dive, but just to give you the idea. Blue is, for me, already achieved. Yellow is, I'm working on it. So this should actually, and then gray is, will work on it after I achieve the prior levels. So Oxygen Advantage, the Bolt score, again, you'd have to get into the resources and book on like what that is. I can do separate videos on more deep dive on the different things, but so basically breathing, sleep, and then from a physical component, I have The Happy Body, which is a book by Jesri Gregorick, and then Peter Attia has a book and exercises. So I kind of detailed like Peter Attia Outlive video exercises assisted. I can do those assisted, and then I can also now do them unassisted. So those are good. And yeah, so these are all measurable ways to kind of develop. And so the scoring, I'll bounce over to the scoring. So the levels go up higher and higher. Torment level 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 being the hardest, 1 being the most remediary. And that if you do a level 1, if you do Torment level 1, you'd have 1 point. Torment 2, 2 points. Then I just double it. I thought about doing the scale that makes sense to me is basically doubling it. So you'd have 1 point here, and then 2 points, so 3 points total. 4 points if you get the next one. 8 points if you get the Torment level 4. So these are stretch goals that you'd have to work on and develop. And yeah, so that's the scoring. So if we did the physical, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10. So I would put down here 10, which I didn't actually do before this video. But so you'd have 10 for that. Okay, so now let's go over to the mental, emotional, physical, spiritual health. 3 things. This one's, albeit a little bit harder to quantify. So the first one that I've found, again, these are like the best things that I have found in my life to be useful for these different dimensions of life that we're all after on an unconscious or conscious level. I went through several practitioner and master levels of neurolinguistic programming and hypnosis. And they have a whole, so the first one, I broke a lifelong habit of biting my nails. Then the next one, you can do a whole breakthrough session on releasing negative emotions and limiting beliefs in one area of life. And then the next one I just put as 2 areas of life, and then 3 areas of life. So this alone, I mean, I could do a whole, like, you know, this whole pillar basically transformed my mental health. I've never felt better, slept better. I've never found a better way after doing ayahuasca, plant, like basically everything you can think of. So from someone who's done everything, this is the best thing that I've found. I can't overstate that enough. And I'm also certified to help other people do it. So if you're interested in that, let me know. If you feel like you're holding on to negative emotions or limiting beliefs, which is a guarantee that you are, and you want to release that and benefit from feeling better across a multitude of subjective and objective metrics. You can dig into that. Again, I link it out so you can look at the company and the data. But yeah, so that's the best thing. So if it's the best thing, I'm going to put it in here. And I happen to be able to help other people do it. So if you're interested, swipe up somewhere, let me know. The story of the two wolves. This is one that I use to track my daily. You can read the story. Most people know it, but I love it. And it's basically like good wolf versus bad wolf. And I track every day was it my day subjectively good, irrespective of the external events, right? So irrespective of the external events, was I happy? Did I feel good? Was it a good day or bad day? I used to do like 1 through 5, 1 through 7, and I just simplified it, either good or bad, good wolf or bad wolf. Good wolf is, gratitude, acceptance, love, things like that. Bad wolf is you're fixated and focused on envy, jealousy, anger, negative emotions. So was your day predominantly one or the other? If you have to pick, this is not a corporate yes and no situation. You have to I just force myself to track it every day, one or the other. And I've had a lot of good days since doing the release work through the NLP and hypnosis. And then the last one that I would recommend, or that I think is important, is having some level of faith. That doesn't necessarily mean religious, but it could mean that for you. So again, a little bit harder to track, but just having a month. The first level I put is a month of consistently practicing faith, gratitude, acceptance, or surrender. Kind of trusting in the universe, like whatever language resonates with you. So kind of it is all-encompassing, generic terminology. I used the word faith. And then what did I link for faith? Maybe the Wikipedia of faith. So I just have to link everything for posterity. So you can read about faith on Wikipedia. And these are like monster topics that have been developing since the beginning of time in humans. So again, this is just trying to be like a useful abstraction of like, what are we after, right? If you can only focus on so many things in a day for the different areas of life, what is the best, most efficient, effective way to go about that? This is this attempt. I am not tied to any of these things. You can adapt it however you see fit. And I plan to evolve this as it goes. But this, based on my, knowledge today, this is where I'm at. So now we can go over to the intelligence, the wizard, the creativity and creation. And let's see if it's worth bumping up anymore. So I have Shopify, it's an e-commerce business. And then I put start a business, own a profitable business. Torment level 3 would be run an integrated life value aligned business, meaning basically you like what you do. It's a fancy way of saying that. And then own a business that's kind of at scale, impact, kind of bigger level stuff is what I put for that. Obviously there's other business models other than a Shopify website, but that's what we have. I put base link, Spanish, basic, conversational, fluent. Look at that. Look, you got the little flag there. I mean, is that not, I don't know. I love this stuff. And then Torment level 4, native bilingual proficiency in Spanish. This is another fun one, 1,000 True Fans. It's a long essay by Kevin Kelly. And having a creative outlet is important, I believe. So having one, and then one with some level of, again, we're trying to measure it. So maybe 10 fans, 100 fans, and then 1,000 true fans would be kind of the end point from that, trackable, measurable frame, what method or approach. So yeah, you'll have access to this, and you can get into draw.io, or it's app.diagrams.net. But I'll link this out in a blog post. You can get into it, edit it, make it your own. And it's going to keep evolving. And then there's also a million ways to progress the gamification of life. These could be interactive buttons, and there could be social accountability, and we could throw everybody in a Facebook group or something. Like, there's a lot of ways to develop this. But I love it. I think it's one of the better things that I've ever thought of. That's integrating a lot of different goals and things that I've been after for a long, long time, and hitting plateaus and motivation dips in and out. And then the last thing I just put is like achievements. So these are kind of not area of life necessarily specific, but I just put achievements, no alcohol for 30 days. And then you feel good when obviously you feel good when you don't drink, but you feel good when you achieve these different levels. When you track it, you're like, there's a visual component, there's a measurable accountability. So, and then the one I'm doing right now, which is why it's yellow, is 30 days of no coffee. So that's a cool little coffee mug. I mean, again, my hand drawings are, I have to say, pretty impressive. So, that pretty much summarizes what I put together, how I'm utilizing it. You would add up your level in each class, and then you'd have a combined class level, and that would be kind of your total life, level. And you're obviously trying to work on new things and keep moving along. So I think finding ways to play towards our psychological biases and resistance points, that's a good thing. That's what this is attempting to go after. Let me know if you have any questions. Leave whatever comment. Get in touch with me, and I'm happy to expand on any of these vectors, columns. I have a ton of other ideas, but this is a little bit of a snapshot for you guys of just how good of an artist I am. So let me know if this was useful, or how I could make it more useful. And I will be continuing to do this myself, like I mentioned. But yeah, at this point, I'm just rambling, trying to think of anything else I have to share. I don't think so. So if you made it this far, thanks for listening.